Hi everyone, I'm Melina with Light of the World Learning, and today we're going to learn about teaching pronunciation. You can find more information about our materials and training at lotwl.org or lightoftheworldlearning.org. So English today is a global language. It's spoken all around the world. It started in the United Kingdom and it has spread to other continents such as North America, Africa, India, Australia, and other parts of the world. English is spoken not only within those countries, but between those countries. And so it's very important that our students learn how to pronounce words and sentences and ideas carefully so that they can be understood by people from a lot of different areas. Each of these areas of the world has their own beautiful and unique way of pronouncing the language and has all sorts of colorful idioms and slang that they use. And these are great for our students to know, but we also want their language to be intelligible to people from other areas, and we want them to be to understand what other people are saying to them. So, since English has so many different accents and dialects, it will help your students a lot if you expose them to diverse accents so they can understand them. They should hear not only the voice of their teacher, but if you can bring in other audio materials such as the Light of the World narration, which we have in US and UK English, other resources such as listening to the Bible online in other languages, this will really help them gain an appreciation and understanding of other accents while also learning how to make their own speech clearer. What we do in each lesson is practice sounds and stress, as these impact intelligibility the most. There are two pronunciation slides in each lesson, and we're going to look at those now. The first slide we have teaches how to pronounce individual sounds. And we practice these by looking at and listening to the sounds and using our model, repeat, and solo method. For example, in this lesson, we're practicing the long O sound, and letters are represented, rather, sounds are represented by a letter put between two slashes. So when you see the two slashes around a capital letter, a capital vowel, that tells you that that's a long vowel sound. And so this is the O sound. We start out by saying the sound O, O, O. And then we read the list with words that contain that sound from top to bottom. O, open, over, solo, no, ago, O. Then we ask our students to repeat after us in unison if we have an entire class. And then finally, we will ask some of the students to repeat solo to see if they can correctly pronounce these words. The words that are used in the pronunciation lesson are usually words that students have encountered previously in earlier lessons or words that are very common. We are not teaching vocabulary at this stage. We are just teaching the pronunciation of particular sounds and words. You'll notice that up in the top corner of your slide, there is an audio icon. And if you have downloaded your materials into Microsoft PowerPoint, you can click on that little arrow and it will play the audio with the narrator's voice. You can also use our YouTube videos to listen to the narrator's voice. On the second one, for the second sound, here we have the letter Z, and it's between two slash marks. So this tells us that it's the sound Z, Z. By the way, if it's a capital vowel, it's the long sound. And if it's a lowercase vowel between the slash marks, it's the short sound. We do this instead of using some of the international phonetic alphabet symbols, which are unfamiliar to our students. This way, they don't have to learn any additional symbols with pronunciation. So once again, we'll use model, repeat, and solo. First, I'll say the sound Z, Z, Z. Then I will say the column of words from top to bottom. Z, zero, Zambia, zoo, lazy, quiz. Z, zero, Zambia, zoo, lazy, quiz. Then we will repeat and ask the students to repeat in unison after the teacher. And finally, we will ask for volunteers or select a couple of students to solo and read the column by themselves so we can check their pronunciation. For step 3, this is called the challenge because we pick a sound that is challenging for our students to pronounce, and the teacher gets to select that. Because each class and student will have different sounds that they struggle with, often based on sounds that do not exist in their first language. This gives the teacher an opportunity to make the lesson tailored to the student's unique needs. So, for example, in this one, if my students have trouble with the W sound, I will write in the challenge column the sound that we want to practice, and I will come up with a list of 3 or 4 words that contain that sound that the students are familiar with so that they can practice it. So once again, after the teacher selects a sound that we know our students need to practice, we write the sound here, we write a few words containing that sound, and then we go through it just like we did with column 1 and 2. So for this one, I would begin with the sound woo, 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 and then the words was, Wednesday, were, wet, woo, was, Wednesday, were, wet. Then the students will repeat after the teacher in unison and finally solo. The last part of the pronunciation of sounds is the 2 sentences at the bottom, which contain words from the columns. And so this is like a little tongue twister that can be fun for them to practice by putting all those sounds together. So again, we'll model, repeat, solo. The teacher will model. He is flying solo over to Zambia. I had 0 errors on the quiz a week ago. And again, the learners will be asked to repeat in unison and then solo those to see if they can pronounce those sounds. The following slide has to do with syllable stress. So this is a really important part of intelligibility. If you don't put the stress on the right syllable, it makes it very hard for people to understand your speech. With the syllable stress, these symbols here, the long big dash and the shorter, smaller dash that's lower, represent the stressed syllable, which is higher in pitch, louder in volume, and longer in duration, and the unstressed syllables, which are lower in pitch, shorter in duration, and softer in volume. We can introduce these by humming and clapping so that students can hear the rhythm. For example, column 1, it has 1-syllable words. So this is very easy. We just can hum 1 syllable, hmm, hmm, or we can clap 1 syllable. And then say the words, demonstrating that each word has 1 syllable. Pen, eat, fruit, map, pen, eat, fruit, map, If you like, you can have the students clap in unison while you read the column of words. We will do the same thing with model, repeat, and solo. So the teacher will read the column, then the students will repeat after the teacher in unison, and finally, we will ask a few of the students to solo and do it by themselves. For column B, because there are 2 syllables, the rhythm is a little bit different. We want to show the students that in this column of words, the word is stressed on the first syllable. We can also use hand gestures. Showing that one of the syllables is higher, louder, and longer. The other syllable is lower, shorter, and softer. Pencil, scissors, children, paper. Pencil, scissors, children, paper. Again, we will model it, then ask students to repeat after us in unison, and finally solo. For column C, you can see the rhythm is a little bit different. These words are stressed on the second syllable. So the sound is Hello, obey, before, today. Hello, obey, before, today. We can also use clapping with a closed fist clap for the short syllable to make it a little softer, and a 2-hand clap for the long stressed syllable to make it a little bit louder. So hello, obey, before, today. Hello, obey, before, today. Students usually have a lot of fun with these exercises, and I hope that you will enjoy teaching them as well. Remember, we all have different accents, and you don't have to speak English and try to sound like a member of the British royal family to be speaking English properly, but you do need to speak clearly and stress your words on the correct syllable. Thank you so much.